Hello, I am Jess Iteration. I will discuss and make some tutorials of Ada programming language.
Ada is a structured, statically typed, imperative, and object-oriented high-level computer programming language, extended from Pascal and other languages. It has built-in language support for design by contract, extremely strong typing, explicit concurrency, tasks, synchronous message passing, protected objects, and non-determinism. Ada improves code safety and maintainability by using the compiler to find errors in favor of runtime errors. Ada is an international standard. The current version, known as Ada 2012, is defined by ISO IEC 8652-2012. Ada was originally designed by a team led by Jeannie Spiavsky Honeywell Bull under contract to the United States Department of Defense (DoD) from 1977 to 1983 to supersede over 450 programming languages used by the DoD at that time. Ada was named after Ada Lovelace, 1815 to 1852, who has been credited as the first computer programmer. Ada was originally targeted at embedded and real-time systems. The Ada 95 revision, designed by S. Tucker Taft of Intermetrics between 1992 and 1995, improved support for systems, numerical, financial, and object-oriented programming (OOP). Features of Ada include strong typing, modularity mechanisms, packages, runtime checking, parallel processing, tasks, synchronous message passing, protected objects, and non-deterministic select statements, exception handling, and generics. Ada 95 added support for object-oriented programming, including dynamic dispatch. The syntax of Ada minimizes choices of ways to perform basic operations, and prefers English keywords, such as or else and then, to symbols, such as vertical bar and. Ada uses the basic arithmetical operators plus, dash, and slash, but avoids using other symbols. Code blocks are delimited by words such as declare, begin, and end, where the end, in most cases, is followed by the identifier of the block it closes, for example, if, and if, loop, and loop. In the case of conditional blocks, this avoids a dangling else that could pair with the wrong nested if expression in other languages like C or Java. Ada is designed for development of very large software systems. Ada packages can be compiled separately. Ada package specifications, the package interface, can also be compiled separately without the implementation to check for consistency. This makes it possible to detect problems early during the design phase, before implementation starts.
Installation of ADA programming language. This is a short tutorial video on how to download and install ADA on your computer, and also how to create a project is made along with this program. First off, you have to go to periodic.com/download to download the file. Here on the side you'll be provided two options, one for free software, or academic download, which will be the one we are actually going to use in this tutorial, and the other one is for commercial revolution critical to those valid. You'll also see a box that allows you to enter your email address for announcements regarding new releases and special events. This is not mandatory, and you can opt out of this feature later on entering anything like stocks provided. Did you click on the filter, you'll be redirected to your page and will allow you to modify the program that we'll be using depending on the operating system of the computer and also the version you want to install. You have to select the platform, and then additional options will show up. Children allow you to modify the specific piles of Too Much Salt in Computer. For this tutorial we'll be downloading the 32-bit version HockeyMac 12. As soon as the MO is downloaded, all you have to do is to lodge the file, and then the installation itself is quite easy. All you have to do is select the destination folder to program and wait for the installation process finish, and you so open the program. You have to run the GPS up to expose your computer. A small window will then open up giving you the option to create or open a file. In this part of the tutorial we'll be showing you a free track. First you have to select Create New Project Wizard, then afterwards select Single Project, and then click on the forward button. You will then have to input the file name for your project and also select as to where it will be saved on your computer. In this part of the tutorial we'll be opening up sample1 add to which you can add a file. You on this part will be so simple program that will sample program of ADA programming language. Let's get started. This is a very simple ADA application. It will query some numbers of the console, make some computation between them, in this case an addition, and then display a different caption depending on the sign of the result of this addition. Let's see this live in the eye. This is GPS, the ADA I opened on the Hello project. The thing I'm going to do here is to compile the application, so I go to this build the menu here, hit project, and then select the executable that I want to build, which is Hello. This window provides me with a wise options. I can select for the build. In this case the default are fine. I'm just hitting execute. As you can see, this triggers files command in the background, eventually creating the program hello.x. Let's execute this. I'm going to build again, and this the time it runs Hello. I get a window with options that I can configure, but again here defaults are fine. I'm just hitting execute. This opens a console within GPS that is going to allow me to interact with the application. Let's see how it works. If I put two positive numbers, I am expecting a positive result, and have the proper caption in the console. For instance 1 and 1 equals 2, it's positive, and indeed as you can see the positive result has been displayed as expected by the program. If I run the same thing second time, this time with two negative numbers, -1 and -1, I have the proper caption negative result that gets displays on the screen. And finally, as you would expect, if I run the program again, which -1 and 1, expecting result is 0 caption. This is indeed what is being displayed with the program. Let's now dive into more details. The first thing that we are looking at here is the entry point of the program. It's a procedure which is an equivalent of void function in languages such as C or C++ and ADA. The name of the entry point, or if you will, the name of the domain subprogram, can be anything. It doesn't have to be named necessarily, which is why in this case I decided to call it Hello. What happens next after the procedure creation is a declaration scope, where I can declare variables. Here I'm declaring a VNC of type integer. I have to declare variables within the declarative scope. It is not possible to declare them otherwise. The declaration scope is finished by the keyword begin, which introduces a sequence of statements such as assignments, conditions. Subprogram calls. This statement can only happen in a sequence of statement area. They cannot be written in a declarative part. One of the notable differences between Ada and other languages such as C or C++ is that the assignment is done through the := symbol as opposed to simple equal on top of that. An assignment is not an operator, meaning that it cannot be written in a condition. The equality an operator in Ada is a simple equal as opposed to double equal in some of the languages. One of Ada particularities is the notion of attribute. An attribute is a property of identity, for example a variable or type. It is accessed through the ticket rotation between the entity that you want to extract the property from and the property name. In this example we are using two attributes, value and image. Value is a special attributes that transform a string into a value of the type so int, and erotic value would transform a string to an integer value. Image does the opposite, that is to say, takes a value of the type and transforms that to a string. With this, we are going to do some input-output on the console. To be able to interact with the console, we will need to use a library unit in Ada. The standard library unit that provides access to input-output on the console is called a data-text-io. To use it, I need to declare a dependency between my program and this library unit. This dependency is introduced by the reserved word with at the beginning of the program, followed by the name of the library unit, in this case, a data text-io. Once an attribute is a property of identity, for example a variable or type, it is accessed through the ticket rotation between the entity. An attribute is a property of identity, for example a variable or type, it is accessed through the ticket rotation between the entity that you want to extract the property from and the property name. In this example we are using two attributes, value and image. Value is a special attributes that transform a string into a value of the type so int, and erotic value would transform a string to an integer value. Image does the opposite, that is to say, takes a value of the type and transforms that to a string. With this, we are going to do some input-output on the console. In order to be able to interact with the console, we will need to use a library unit in Ada. The standard library unit that provides access to input-output on the console is called a data-text-io. In order to use it, I need to declare a dependency between my program and this library unit. This dependency is introduced by the reserved word with at the beginning of the program followed by the name of the library unit, in this case, a data-text-io. Once this is done, I can use services functionalities from this library. Here I am interested in two things in particular: getLine and putLine. As you can see here, to have access to getLine containing a data-text-io, I have to write a data-text-io that gets line. And what this will do here is called subprogram getLine, which read the string and the command line up until I hit the enter key, and then we turn the string to the program. The putLine service is going to do things the other way around, that is to say, it takes of string as the parameter which will display the string on the console. Now here, what I want to do is to display a caption in the value, that is to say a literal positive result, and the result of the call to the image attribute, converting the C value into a string in order to concatenate two strings. Here I'm going to use the ampersand character, the ampersand operator in Ada, which is the array concatenation operator and can be used between strings. The last thing to look at here is the conditional block. As you can see, we will use the den world to delimitate the condition, so there is no need for parentheses around the condition as you would need in some other languages. The other interesting thing is that there is an actual result word, as if to introduce a condition alternative if the first one is not verified. And finally, there are no condition shortcuts to close the block in case there is only one instruction to execute, which means that for an if there is always an end. If so, what this does is checking if C equals 0. If that's the case, then put the result is 0. If not, it will check if C is greater than 0 and then put positive results on the screen if that's the case, and in all other cases it will display negative results.